Exclusive contract from Feilu Novel Network Novel. Honghuang. Beginning deduction of mythological Daluo cultivation method, fake Daluo. It shatters at a touch, gets involved in the quantity calamity, and is in danger of falling. The True Dalai Lama. One certificate forever. All time and space are eternal and free. No matter where you are, everything is supreme. This kind of Dalai Lama, also known as the mythological Dalai Lama. At the beginning, Zixiao became the first innate purple aura, accompanied by a half-piece of divine jade. Zixiao had two choices. 1. Step by step, cultivate a false Dalai Lama, or die suddenly midway, becoming a chance for Hongjun. 2. Advance the transformation of form, use the creation of jade edicts, and deduce the mythical Great Luo cultivation method. How to choose? Of course it's the second one. Refining essence and transforming qi, refining qi and transforming spirit, refining spirit and returning to void, refining void and combining Tao. Opening up an infinite world within the body, the world will not perish, and the breath will never cease. Can travel through the heavens, can turn cause into effect, can flow against the long river of the world, can stir up fate and cause, can endure countless tribulations and never perish. Heaven and earth are corrupt, and I am immortal. I am the only one, reflecting the world. After countless Yuan meetings, when Zixiao cultivates into a celestial being and opens up the great Luo heaven, the entire wasteland is stunned. All the cultivators. So what we are cultivating are fake immortals. Feilu Novel Network reminds you that this novel and its characters are purely fictional. If there are any similarities, they are purely coincidental and should not be imitated. 1. Traveling through the wilderness, am I the first strand of purple aura in my birth? You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Here is a flood and famine. I became the first innate purple aura. A flood and famine. On a fairy mountain, within a formation, conscious waves come from within. What emits a wave of consciousness is a purple aura. Congenital purple qi. However, this consciousness is not innate, but has crossed over from another world. The purple sky cannot calm down for a long time. Until now, this information has been digested. Before crossing over, I was still flipping through the Taoist scriptures. To educate people, there is no such thing as Daluo Jin Xian in Orthodox Taoism. Only the great Luo heavenly immortal. As a cultivation enthusiast, Zixiao not only sleeps late, but also knows some Taoist concepts of cultivation very well. In addition, he is also a keyboard warrior. I will argue with people online about the difference between Honghuang Dalai and Mythical Dalai. Honghuang Daluo, easily shattered by a touch, caught in the measurement calamity, and may even fall. Mythical Dalai, one proof is eternal, all time and space are eternal and free. No matter where you are, everything is supreme. Before crossing over, he argued with someone again. This time it was particularly intense. The post went through thousands of floors, citing classics, and the Taoist collection was almost ruined. Unexpectedly, after the argument. In a blink of an eye, I have traveled through time. Thinking of this, Zixiao felt strange in his heart. Other people's travels seem like that at least, but I was lucky enough to have an argument with them. Zixiao has no intention of further studying the reasons for his travels. Anyway, we can't figure it out. And he has no attachment to his past life, anyway, he is carefree and has traveled through it without any worries. He is more concerned about the situation. First of all, this is the wilderness. There is no doubt about this. Secondly, it's the foundation. In the wilderness, there are roots, and those with deep roots have bonuses no matter what they do. And anything that is linked to innate will not be inferior. If there is also a first added, it would be even better. Put it at the root, it's the top group of cultivators in the vast wilderness. For example, the Eastern Prince. It is the first innate ray of yang energy. Purple qi, as a sign of auspiciousness, signifies nobility. So, this innate first strand of purple qi, no matter how you look at it, is a first-class foundation. At least. Will it not be weaker than Emperor Jun, Tai, Dongwang Gong, and others? Zixiao thought to herself. Speaking of which, his name was not that before his time traveling. Zixiao is the Taoist name he bestowed upon himself after his travels, bringing blessings to his soul. As for what the previous name was, it no longer matters. Compared to the long time of the flood and famine, the name of a mortal is not important. Afterwards, he will be Zixiao. Normally, once you realize that you are extraordinary, you should be very happy. But Zixiao didn't. Even there are also concerns. Because in perception, there is something. A treasure. Treasure. This easily reminds people of words like, companion spirit treasures. All innate gods have accompanying objects. But most of them are innate spiritual treasures. Accompanying the greatest treasure is very rare. If Zixiao could transform into a form, this precious treasure would undoubtedly become his companion treasure. This is already a good thing. But Zixiao couldn't laugh. Because, what a special thing is this? It's actually the Jade Edict of Creation. What is the Jade Edict of Creation? This is a treasure of chaos that records 3,000 avenues and 10,000 unorthodox paths. Of course, what appeared next to Zixiao was not a complete creation Jade Edict, only a small piece. But even so, the grade is still an innate treasure level. Having unimaginable power. Among them, the ability of deduction is particularly outstanding. Any cultivator who receives it may be overjoyed and consider it a great opportunity. But Zixiao doesn't think so. And when it comes to recalling one's own roots, it becomes even more so. Innate purple qi, with the Taoist name Purple Sky, and a divine jade tablet beside me. Nima. Am I really not Hongjuan's chance? Because the Jade Edict of Creation is Hongjuan's magic weapon. The method of beheading the body passed down by Hongjun was also derived from it. So, it's difficult not to evoke associations. Of course, after the opening of the heavenly heaven, the Jade Edict of Creation scattered into many pieces. When Hongjun deduced the method of beheading the corpse, he may not have used the one next to Zixiao. But if we recall the relationship between Hongjun and Hongmeng Zuqi, as well as his Taoist temple called Zixiao Palace, it's hard not to doubt it. What a special thing. Am I actually Hongjuan's chance? I don't know if the innate purple qi in the history of the flood and famine had a consciousness of birth. If not, one can still take a gamble. If there is. If there is, but in the history of the past, there was no cultivator named Zixiao. That only means that their consciousness has been erased. In an instant, Zixiao's heart trembled. It's a bit difficult. In fact, did Hongjun have the consciousness to erase the birth of innate purple qi? It's not important. The important thing is that if Hongjun finds this place before he transforms, he will lose his initiative. Originally his companion treasure. It will also fall into the hands of Hongjun. At that time, no matter how much he cultivates, it will be difficult for him to surpass Hongjun again. Lucky enough to survive. Becoming the Great Luo Golden Immortal in the wilderness, surpassing the Hunyuan Great Luo Golden Immortal to the sky. Bad luck when Hongjun came, he was gone. No, we need to find a way. And is Daluo in the wilderness a real Daluo? Zixiao expressed doubt. The true Dalai Lama, enduring countless tribulations and never being destroyed, reflects the fruits of the Tao on the heavens and the world, can turn cause into effect, and can reverse the long river of time. Standing at the pinnacle of the heavens. No matter where you are, it is the highest myth. Instead of being like Daluo in the wilderness, who may even fall in the calamity if there is a choice. Zixiao, I really don't want to become the great Luo of the flood and wilderness. But rather mythical Daluo. Suddenly, a purple sky spiritual light flashed. Anyway, I don't want to become the Honghuang Daluo either. Since that's the case, why not transform the form in advance to create a jade edict? Infer the Mythical Daluo Cultivation Method. 2. Pangu Daoti. Advanced Shaping. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. This thought cannot be stopped together. Crazy breeding in Zixiao's heart. The more he thought about it, the more he felt that this method was feasible. Two choices. One is to follow the routine and continue to endure hardships. When transformed in this way, at least one can become the great Luo Golden Immortal in the wilderness. But there is a high possibility of death midway, which could become a chance for Hongjun. So there is a certain risk. Besides, it can't be the big Luo in my heart either. Zixiao secretly analyzed to herself. Consider two options. The other is to transform the form in advance, use the creation and transformation jade doctrine, and deduce the mythical great Luo cultivation method. This method has a slightly lower risk, but it is extremely difficult and full of uncertainty. But once cultivated, it is the highest of all heavens, truly able to transcend. Its upper limit is unimaginable. But at the beginning of the transformation, the strength was much weaker than the first choice. So here comes the question. How to choose? No need to think, of course it's the second one. It's not that Zixiao's confidence exploded, but after weighing the pros and cons, he found that the second one was even better. It also fits his personality better. Not to mention anything else, the 4 words, Mythical Dalai, alone have a great attraction to him. If there's no chance, it's okay. But now, the opportunity is right in front of us. If we don't fight for it, we will regret it in the future. Moreover, choosing the first one may not necessarily lead to a good ending. Not long after, the purple sky recognizes the clear and bright sea. I have a direction. The first step is to transform. Thinking of this, Zixiao quickly restrained his mind and tried to cultivate. Or, to put it another way, find ways to transform. Transformation is the first threshold for cultivation, and this step is very important. If you cannot succeed, everything is just empty talk. It doesn't mean that without transformation, one cannot cultivate. But rather the cultivation speed, which will be much slower. Fortunately, the method of transforming form did not seem profound, and there was no need to ponder it much. Zixiao had his thoughts on it. It can even be said that is it a bit simple. This surprised Zixiao quite a bit. Because he had never practiced before. After crossing over, there was no inheritance. In theory, if he wants to transform, he should encounter setbacks and take a lot of time, but it won't be easy anyway. But the fact is that, with the same thought, the process of transformation began. Almost instinctive. At first, Zixiao was also puzzled and didn't understand the reason. But when the transformation progressed to a certain extent, he understood. Suddenly enlightened. I see. Transformation refers to transforming into the form of Pangu, the great god, when he opened the heavens, or in other words, the form. And this body happens to be in human form. The entire process is to gradually transform one's form into a human form through cultivation. The stronger the ability to comprehend, the closer the Tao body becomes to Pangu after transformation. That is the human form. The cultivation speed will also increase accordingly. This is also why, with the birth of the human race, the heavenly Tao will descend merits, and the human race is known as the innate Tao body. On the contrary, it will bring some features of the ontology to some extent. Horns grow on the head, scales grow on the hands, and so on. However, some are intentionally done to reflect differences. For example, the dragon tribe. But in short, transformation is difficult and has a threshold. Not all living beings can transform successfully. Not to mention the perfect form. However, Zixiao did not have this concern because he was different from all the cultivators. Other cultivators need to cultivate from the essence into the Tao body. He is actually the opposite. From a Taoist humanoid form to an innate deity. Therefore, if he wants to transform, it is extremely simple. Understanding human form. What's so difficult about this? Isn't it enough to understand myself? Of course, it's the self before crossing over. The next thing is very simple, just like playing a game, Zixiao can pinch his face and adjust it freely. It includes both appearance and body shape. Even gender. It can be said that as long as Zixiao is willing, it is also possible to create an ancient god appearance. But it's not necessary. After all, this is different from games. Once the characters are well crafted, they need to be substituted in. What does it look like with a face full of tragedy? Do you feel nauseous about yourself? Your appearance must be full. The damage may not be high, but it must be handsome. Based on this principle, Zixiao began to pinch his face. Time flies. 1 yuan will pass, nearly 1.4 billion years. Zixiao felt something in her heart. He knows he can transform himself. Among them, the time spent pinching the face is not long, and it looks less than 10,000 years most of the time, it's shaping the form. After all, it's not about becoming immortal, but rather a cultivator with cultivation. And it's not too low. According to the realm of the wilderness, he should be the pinnacle of the golden immortal. If it's just the golden immortal who needs so much longer, what if I follow the routine and run towards the great Luo golden immortal? I'm afraid even 10,000 yuan won't be enough. It's really hard to say what will happen after such a long time. Zixiao couldn't help but sigh. My heart is becoming increasingly firm. Actually, so far he still has options to continue accumulating. But as long as we transform, there is no turning back. Zixiao did not hesitate at all about this. Transformation. With this thought, the purple chi changed. But there is no thunder in the sky, and no vision on the earth. In an instant, a young man with sword eyebrows and starry eyes appeared in the congenital formation, with a handsome face and wearing a purple Taoist robe. The young man was shrouded in purple mist. Although one's cultivation is comparable to that of a golden immortal, it also gives people a feeling of natural Dao Yun. The 1 Yuan Society of Asceticism. My name is Zixiao. Today it takes shape. 3. The heavenly way has not yet emerged. Fierce beast quantity robbery. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. The process of transformation was much smoother than Zixiao had imagined. There is no thunder robbery. Originally, he was prepared to cross the calamity. I'm even worried that the thunder disaster will be quite severe. If I can't cross it, what should I do? Unexpectedly, Jieyun did not appear. Looking around, there isn't even a single dark cloud in the sky. How could that be so? Zixiao felt a little puzzled. But soon, his doubts were dispelled. The biggest difference before and after transformation is not only the possession of Dao body, but also the strength. Even if Zixiao is not following the path of Honghuang Daluo. Compared to before transformation, it has also become much more powerful. Perception ability is no exception. With a pinch of her fingers, Zixiao understood. So currently, the heavenly way has not yet emerged. No wonder there was no thunder disaster. The 3 innate tribes have not yet risen. Now it's fierce beast quantity robbery. The calculated result shocked and uplifted Zixiao. Why shocked? Needless to say. Coming out at such an early timeline, anyone would be surprised. As for excitement, that's even less to say. This means he has plenty of time to deduce and practice. But on second thought, it's actually quite normal. After all, according to the normalization process, he was at least 10,000 times ahead of schedule. More time just gave me more opportunities, but the specific step I can take still depends on myself. Taking a deep breath, Zixiao's mood gradually calmed down. Calm down. Immediately, analyze the situation. This is very important. Decide his next action. The ferocious beast's quantity calamity is undoubtedly the most dangerous quantity calamity. In the future, there are rarely unfounded dangers, and there is a cause and effect involved. Those who enter the calamity are either a certain cultivator or a certain ethnic group. Not every cultivator will be robbed. But the ferocious beast, the amount of calamity, is different. It arises from the resentment and evil energy of the 3,000 chaotic demon gods, targeting not a single cultivator, but the entire wilderness. If I go out of the innate formation now, I'm afraid I won't be able to win over. Soon. Zixiao makes a judgment. He decided to persevere first, at least until the Mythical Daluo Cultivation method had a clear understanding and achieved certain results, before he would consider whether to go out. Before that, it's better not to take risks. So here comes the question. How can we give the cultivation method a clue? Inference. This is also the original intention of Zixiao's choice to transform in advance. Because after transformation, there will be a qualitative leap in calculation ability. Not only that, but it can also refine magic treasures. Thinking of this, Zixiao caught a glimpse with a smile in his eyes. At the same time, there is also some helplessness. In perception, there is a flawless piece made of white jade with endless Taoist scriptures written on it. Upon closer inspection, it feels as if there is no word left, and it is truly supernatural. This thing is nothing else, it is the innate treasure. The Jade Edict of Creation. Zixiao is both happy and helpless, and it is also related to this. How could I have thought of becoming Hongjuan's opportunity if it weren't for the existence of the lucky jade certificate. So there won't be a sense of crisis. But on the other hand, if it weren't for the creation and jade edict, how could I dare to speak shamelessly and deduce the mythical Daluo cultivation method? Besides, I also have scriptures in my mind. Zixiao vividly remembers every Taoist scripture he browsed before crossing the river, even if he only glanced at it, he could still remember it at this moment. These Taoist scriptures seemed ordinary before crossing the purple sky. But after his travels, he possessed inexplicable power. It seems to contain some kind of mystery. If one can gain some insights from it, then there must be great enlightenment. This is also Zixiao's reliance. To some extent, it is more important than the Jade Edict of Creation. There is no divine Jade Edict, and there are other deductive treasures, but the Taoist scriptures cannot be replicated. Finally, it is about the understanding of the mythological Dalai Lama. This is also very important. Sometimes, the determination of strength is not solely based on cultivation, but also on the understanding of all things in heaven and earth, as well as the sentient beings of the Tao. If one's cognition is high enough, they will not become complacent. If the Dalai Lama in the wilderness knew the true Dalai Lama, the eternal highest of the heavens, I wonder what he would feel. Daluoing is like a myth. And that's exactly what I'm pursuing. At the thought of this, the purple sky no longer hesitates. Divine thoughts fall on the Jade Edict of Creation. What he needs to do now is to refine it, then use it to deduce the Taoist scriptures, and finally obtain the method he wants. Of course, with his current cultivation level, complete refinement is impossible. Not to mention the innate treasure, even if it is the ultimate innate spiritual treasure. He couldn't completely refine it either. Because innate spiritual treasures have restrictions. The process of refining is to break free from restrictions, but if one's cultivation is not enough, it is difficult to break free and requires considerable strength and time. Instead of focusing on it, it's better to cultivate and improve one's cultivation. This is even faster. Generally speaking, only Honghuang can completely refine the supreme treasure. That is to unleash all the power. According to Zixiao's estimation, with his current strength, he has 50 forbidden creation jade plates and can unlock up to 12. Going forward, we need to improve our strength. But the way for me to improve my strength is to rely on the deduction of the Jade Doctrine of Creation. Fortunately, we can still refine some of it. Otherwise, it's a dead cycle. Anyway, let's refine and transform the Jade Edict first, and the rest. Let's wait until the refining is finished. 4. Refining the treasure, deducing the formula. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Time flies. In the blink of an eye, it was another Yuan meeting. When Zixiao opened his eyes, he had a connection with the Jade Edict of Creation. It will cost 1 yuan. He finally refined a prohibition. It's quite outrageous. Just a prohibition, does it take so long? My cultivation level is still too low. If there is the cultivation of the Honghuang Daluo Golden Immortal, the refining speed will definitely be more than that, and it can be said that it will increase by 10,000 times. But there is no if. Becoming a great Luo in the wilderness also requires a lot of time. Continue. Immediately, Zixiao began to refine again. This time, without refining to the limit, he has no intention of passing the level. Time flies. In a blink of an eye, hundreds of yuan will pass. When Zixiao emerged from the closed gate, his level of control over the Creation Jade Ultimatum greatly increased. Previously, it was just a force drive. Now it can already exert a lot of power. Especially, Zixiao's most devoted deductive ability is already able to deduce anything he wants using the Jade Doctrine of Creation. Gently exhaling a mouthful of turbid air, Zixiao eased her mood for a moment. 100 yuan will be more than enough to refine the 12 prohibitions. Are there 38 more paths behind? TSK, if we really want to refine it all, I'm afraid we don't know how long it will take, and the harder it gets from now on. But it's only 12, it should be enough. Zixiao thought very clearly. The cultivation method of Mythical Daluo cannot be achieved overnight. It needs to be done step by step. Based on his current cultivation level, he only needs to perform the previous realm, and the later ones can continue to be deduced after his cultivation level improves and his ability to control the Creation Jade certificate increases. This is also an unavoidable matter. After all, it's a mythological dragon, and it's not something that can be easily cultivated. And what really needs to be said? The cultivation method is actually not accurate. Or the previous realm can rely on cultivation, but later on, if there are no accidents, it must rely on enlightenment. Cultivation is just the starting point. Enlightenment is the ultimate path. Of course, for now, just practicing methods is enough. A thought moved. The Jade Edict of Creation emits a light chant. Suspended in front of the purple sky. Buzz Zixiao, who has just passed the level, chooses to close down again. But this time, it's different from before. It's not about refining magic treasures. But instead, he used a magic weapon to deduce the mythological cultivation method of Dalai Lama that he had been thinking about for a long time. This method is not imagined out of thin air. There is a Taoist scripture in Zixiao's mind as a reference. After the deduction began, countless golden Taoist texts appeared beside Zixiao. Upon closer inspection, one could see that they were the ones he had flipped through before crossing the river. Strange to say, Zixiao was arguing with someone over the Taoist scriptures. Now, the Taoist scriptures are giving him feedback. A drink and a peck have their own destiny. However, Zixiao, who was in seclusion, was not aware of the automatic manifestation of the Taoist scriptures, but was fully focused on deducing them. It has to be said that there are two differences between having a created Jade certificate and not having a created Jade certificate. The deduction ability has increased by more than 100 times. You should know that this has only refined the 12 prohibitions. And it's still a relatively simple prohibition. In fact, Zixiao had less than 1/5 of the control over the Jade Edict of Creation. If all refining is completed, I'm afraid it can be multiplied by tens or even hundreds of times on top of 100 times. That is to say 10,000 times. And this is just a small piece of fortune-making jade certificate. What if it is complete? It's hard to imagine. However, on the other hand, even if it only increased by 100 times, the help to Zixiao was immediate. Refining essence and transforming qi, refining qi and transforming spirit, refining spirit and returning to emptiness, refining emptiness and combining the Tao. The first scenario. When it comes to refining gas. Soon. By comprehending the Taoist scriptures, the cultivation method has taken shape. The first realm is to refine and transform qi. That is to say, refining gas. Don't think it's qi refining, just think the realm is relatively low. In fact, this qi is not that qi. More precisely, it should be qi. Practice the innate qi in your body and open up the mystery of infinite creation. All phenomena in heaven and earth have birth and death. Only this qi is immortal, neither increasing nor decreasing, neither impure nor pure, neither empty or empty, neither empty nor empty, to the highest level of divine excellence, and therefore it is immortal. Purple sky, setting qi refining as the starting point for cultivating myths. Refining the body and absorbing qi is the method. Refining the primordial qi is the goal. Once refined, it is considered a complete process of refining gas. Zhu qi never dissipates, the breath keeps coming. The term qi here refers to everything that contains energy, whether tangible or intangible, including spiritual energy, magical energy, immortal energy, evil energy, chaotic energy, and so on. It's all qi. Speaking of which, in Zixiao's opinion, a cultivator in the wilderness, although he has many realms, in fact, no matter what strength he has, he can still cause great destructive power. Even if one thought annihilates countless universes, as long as one still needs to absorb spiritual energy to strengthen oneself, it is still refining energy. What earthly immortals, heavenly immortals, true immortals, mystical immortals, and even golden immortals, Tai. There is no essential difference between the cultivators in the fantasy world. But it's all about refining gas, who is stronger than who. It's just a matter of different levels in the world. What if the level of the fantasy world is the same as or even higher than that of the wilderness? So, in the end, we compare and contrast. In most cases, the comparison is not with the cultivator themselves, but with the world level. Isn't that cultivator practicing for nothing? In Zixiao's view, the true realm should have the same great power in any world. Instead of saying that after changing to a different world, or soaring, one goes from being a superpower in the previous world to becoming a mole ant in the next world. This is for free practice. The realm is very empty. If one cannot remain strong in all heavens and all realms, then it is a false Dalai Lama. True power, even soaring, is also great. And refine the qi of the Yuan ancestor. It's the first step towards mythology. New book set sale, seek a flower, seek an evaluation ticket. If you feel that the writing is just right, just click in the comments section. Thank you to all the readers, because the first day data is really important. 5. Yuanshi Zuqi, the First Realm. You are listening at novelfull.audio. What is the primordial ancestor qi? It is the Tai Chi of all things in heaven and earth, the boundless chaos that has not yet been opened, and the primordial essence that has not been judged by the Honghuang. All heavens and all realms, the vast universe, the starting point of everything. It is called One. The One in One Life 2, 2 Life 3, 3 Life all things. Only this one, there are no two. This is the only way for cultivation to come true. The way of cultivation is nothing more than this. Zixiao clearly remembers the description of Zuqi in the Taoist scriptures. This is the root of everything. So, it was only then that Zixiao thought of refining the first realm, which is to refine qi perfectly, as the origin ancestor qi. Since ancestral qi is one, refining ancestral qi as the first realm seems to Is it also reasonable and reasonable? In harmony with the Tao. The primordial ancestor Qi is not only the starting point of everything, but also the first step in cultivating the mythological great Luo. Of course, this is a somewhat mystical statement. It also has practical significance. Perhaps it can be achieved, Zixiao's understanding of the realm. Although it may not be considered a permanent certificate, it also carries a sense of eternity. In Zixiao's opinion, any realm that still needs to absorb spiritual energy and other energy-containing substances should be called the Qi refining period. But after mastering the ancestral energy, it can be called a complete gas refining process. That means there's no need to breathe anymore. Zhu Qi is one and can give birth to all things. No matter what it is, spiritual energy, immortal energy, or any other special energy, it can all be derived. And there is an endless stream. Don't worry anymore, there may be insufficient mana or spiritual power. In addition, it can also reduce dependence on the world. Even in the era of the end of the Dharma, there is no trace of spiritual energy in the world, and it will not have any impact on one's own strength. Because you can produce it yourself. So why rely on the world? Even get rid of the constraints of the world. Let's give an analogy. In a certain immortal world, there are both human and immortal realms. Cultivate spiritual energy in the human realm, and cultivate immortal energy in the immortal realm. The level of immortal energy is higher than that of spiritual energy. If there is no ancestral energy, then after ascending to the immortal realm, one must start over and slowly transform the spiritual energy in their body into immortal energy. Subsequently, enhance one's strength. Before the transformation was completed, it had already fallen from the highest point in the human world to the ant in the immortal world. The key is, who can guarantee it? Where is the boundless realm above the immortal realm? For example, the earth immortal realm, the heavenly immortal realm, the true immortal realm, the mysterious immortal realm. As long as you are willing, you can continue indefinitely. Endless. Then, every time you soar, you have to experience the feeling of reaching the highest, becoming hence, even if the practitioner is not tired. The person watching is also tired. But what if we can cultivate the primordial Qi? That's different. Because ancestral energy can transform all things, including spiritual energy, immortal energy, and chaotic energy, no matter what it is not a problem. So, after soaring, just one thought can transform spiritual energy into immortal energy. The realm is undamaged, the strength remains unchanged, and the cultivation level remains unchanged. Even if one discovers immortal energy in advance in the human realm, they can start to transform before ascending. The higher level, Qi, is no exception. Not changing due to changes in the world. Wherever you are, you have the power that matches your cultivation. This is the true cultivation. In this way, the direction of the first realm of Qi refining is very clear. How to cultivate the primordial Qi. Time is running out. In the blink of an eye, 10 yuan will pass. When the divine jade tablet in front of Zixiao stopped trembling, he retreated from the closed gate. The deduction of the 10 yuan meeting. Make him look slightly tired. But if you look at his eyes, you can tell how excited he is. After experiencing the 10 yuan festival, we finally succeeded in the deduction. This time is definitely not short. You know, his transformation only cost 1 yuan. How long is the visible deduction time? However, even so, he only performed the first realm, refining Qi. As for the rest, I have no clue at all. Zixiao was not angry about this, but instead took it for granted. After all, his cultivation is only so high. The first realm of being able to perform the mythological Dalai Lama is already the limit. Even if we really push for another realm, we may not dare to practice it. Let's wait until our cultivation level improves. The urgent task is to transform the method of the flood and famine into the method of deduction. At the same time, it is also a validation of the deduction results. If one can cultivate ancestral energy or perceive opportunities, the deduction is considered successful. After all, this is the beginning of all things. There must be some difficulty. Just think of it and do it. Zixiao followed the deduction method and started practicing. This method is simple to put. Or, to put it another way, there is no such thing as Zixiao's own realization. Impossible while the element cannot, empty is not empty. The purple sky cave embodies the meaning of Pangu opening the sky. I have a vague guess in my heart. If there is anyone in this world who is always strong, then Pangu must be one of them. Why? Because no matter which era it is, whether it is a saint who can resist nuclear bombs, a giant who can walk 10 meters in one step, or a celestial being who can control the universe, they all have a common characteristic. Pangu is all pioneers. As Zixiao thought, cultivation does not change due to world levels. So, if nothing unexpected happens, Pangu has at least proven some eternity. Through what? Open the sky. Zixiao has a clear understanding in his heart. The act of opening up the heavens may be related to ancestral energy. I don't have the great power of Pangu, but the birth of Zuqi may not necessarily open up a vast wilderness. Not much, just a strand is enough. It can even be as small as, like a singularity, infinitesimal. Anyway, just have it. Due to the characteristic of ancestral energy transforming all things, whether it is a single strand or millions of strands, they are essentially the same. Since infinitesimal is fine, so the world to be opened up can also be as small as infinity. But it must be more frequent. Zixiao must search for inevitability amidst countless coincidences. Just as in the vast expanse of the universe, a birth was born. It's both accidental and inevitable. The myriad orifices, endless particles, and even the sea and elixir fields are all places where I open up the world. Zixiao, I want to open up an infinite thousand in my body. Thank you to the big shot for throwing thousands of flowers. There are at least 4 chapters left today. Continue to seek flowers and evaluations. Thank you very much. 6. Opening up the world, in the early stages of gas refining. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. As the saying goes, one flower, one world. Even the smallest particles may contain a universe. Zixiao had a clear idea of Zuqi's cultivation method. It's about opening up the world. From nothing to something. After all, Zuqi itself was born from nothingness. Of course, this void is too void. That's the main road. Therefore, there is no trace to be found. Only by opening up the heavens and earth, and finding the infinitesimal inevitability from countless occurrences, can we glimpse the one that can transform all things. In this way, the front, middle, and back of qi refining are complete, and the 4 small realms are also clearly defined. Incorporate qi into the body and open up the world. The completion of the opening of countless orifices marks the beginning of gas refining. All the particles around the body have been opened up, which is the middle stage of gas refining. Finally, in the purple mansion, Huangting, and Qihai, which are the upper, middle, and lower Dantian, the infinite great realm is opened up, forming the small Zhou Tian or small Zhu Tian within the body. That is, the later stage of qi refining. The heavens move, and the jade liquid returns to the elixir. The cycle repeats itself, and the ancestral qi resonates with each other. When the primordial ancestral qi appears in the body from scratch, there is no need to absorb qi thereafter, that is. The gas refining is successful. After a period of 100,000 yuan, Zixiao used the Taoist scriptures as a reference and deduced the first realm through the creation of jade edicts. After checking again, Zixiao nodded. No omissions were found. After all, it has been deduced for so long. If there were any loopholes, they would have been discovered long ago and we couldn't wait until now. So the next thing is very clear. What should I do when I have the method? Practice. For the first time in seclusion, refine the treasure. The second time in seclusion, deduce the cultivation method. This third time, I will refine and transform my chi, transform my cultivation, and take the first step towards the mythical Great Luo. Immediately, Zixiao closed down again. The gas refining process is complete, although there is no need to add more gas, this step cannot be omitted until then. After all, opening up the world also comes with costs. In the early stage of chi refining, it was fine, but there are eventually countless acupoints. But in the middle stage of gas refining, it's quite exaggerated. Because the particles around the body are almost infinite. More importantly, there are boundaries within the particles, and there are also particles within the boundaries. So, although what Zixiao wants to open up are all small worlds, it cannot withstand the large number, and relying solely on his own words cannot bear it. Fortunately, it is now the beginning of heaven and earth, with abundant spiritual energy. Any breath exhales and contains spiritual energy that can fill countless worlds. That's even more so, we can't miss it. This is my chance. When I think about it, the world opens up. Boom. After Zixiao began to seclude, he practiced the method of deduction, and every acupoint around his body was filled with spiritual energy. Then, with spiritual energy in the acupoints, open up a small world, or rather a small world. Speaking of which, if it weren't for insufficient cultivation. Zixiao even wants to use the chaotic energy to open up the world. The chaotic energy has a very high level. More above spiritual energy. The world opened up is also far above the small world. At least for Shaoqian world. If there is enough chaotic energy, it can be a great thousand. However, this idea was just in Zixiao's mind and he didn't plan to implement it, at least not for now. Because the difficulty is too high. You should know that the birthplace of Pangu is chaos. Then, he exhausted himself and died. Zixiao is very self-aware, knowing that compared to Pangu, he can't even be considered an ant. Using the chaotic energy to open up the inner world, let's not think about it for now. Let's wait until our cultivation level improves. Moreover, ancestral chi is the source of all things, and as long as it can be refined, no matter what shortcomings it may have, it can be compensated for through its creation. In other words, possessing ancestral energy can upgrade the inner world. Upgrade the small world to the medium world. As for the vast world, even the immeasurable world, which is wilderness. Of course, it will take a long time to achieve this step. Yuan Hui is not enough to measure. But this means that Zixiao can start from a relatively low starting point and cultivate all the way up without worrying about the issue of foundation. So, it doesn't matter whether to use the energy of chaos to open up the world. Anyway, everything can be completed. Open the sky. Zixiao's divine sense was palpitating, and he let out a loud shout in his heart. The next moment, the acupoints filled with spiritual energy undergo changes, and one small world after another is opened up. The cultivation that has been in a stagnant state since self-transformation has finally improved. And it's improving very quickly. Zixiao was pleasantly surprised to find that her source of magic had transformed from spiritual energy to a small world. This means that even if Zuqi has not been cultivated, compared to other cultivators, he also has much more mana. After all, how can the orifices compare to the world? If the world never stops, then the breath never stops. Zixiao, I have started to refine qi. But he is obviously not satisfied with this. How could all the orifices and acupoints be reduced to a small world in order to stop? Thinking, Zixiao restrained her mind. Continue to cultivate. Time flies, it's another 10 yuan meeting. Zixiao withdrew from seclusion. Compared to before his seclusion, he has undergone significant changes and his cultivation has increased more than 10 times. The magic power is incredibly powerful. Every move is as natural as heaven. As for the realm, it depends on what realm it is. If divided by the vastness, he may still be the golden immortal, the pinnacle of the golden immortal. But if we follow his own method, it's the early stage of gas refining. Just one step away, we can break through to the mid-term. All the acupoints around the body, without exception, have become small worlds. Finally, Strength Zixiao is not sure about this either, because he has never actually fought. But it is obvious that it cannot be measured by the peak of the golden immortal. For a moment, Zixiao was curious about the mythological cultivation method and how much his strength could be improved. Feeling beyond the innate formation, Zixiao was a bit eager to try. How about go out and play around? 7. Beyond the formation, the world is uncertain. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Since crossing over, Zixiao has been closed 3 times. In addition, with the transformation, he spent over 100 yuan during his time in the wilderness. 1 yuan meeting, 1.4 billion years. Over 100 yuan, in years, it has been hundreds of billions of years. Not for thousands of years, but for thousands billion years. This is 10 times longer than the universe he was in before crossing over. If it weren't for the seclusion, he would have entered a state of cultivation, without any distractions in his heart, and he wouldn't be able to endure it at all. However, even so, there is still a desire to go out at this moment. In addition, it is also to experiment with the results of the cultivation method. Look at your own strength and see how much you have increased. But now, not only is the fierce beast robbery not over, it's even the most dangerous time. Because the heavenly way has not yet emerged. The thunder calamity has not yet formed. Has no suppressive power over ferocious beasts. So, if you go out now, it's highly likely you'll encounter a ferocious beast. This is also the reason why Zixiao hesitated. If it weren't for that, he would have gone out long ago. I wouldn't hesitate for so long. Should we continue to persevere or choose to leave? There are still 2 options. Zixiao continued to analyze it as usual. Keep going, you can. But my cultivation has just reached a bottleneck, almost in the middle of refining qi. If I continue to work hard, I don't know when I will have the possibility of breaking through. 10 yuan meetings, 20 yuan meetings, and even more may not necessarily lead to opportunities. The journey of cultivation is not just about practicing in seclusion. Many times, enlightenment is more effective, especially for people like Zixiao who have just finished their seclusion. But epiphany often requires luck. Coincidentally, this opportunity cannot be closed and can only be searched outside. Not only that, but now it is the fierce beast calamity, and apart from me, there are hardly any innate gods that have transformed. More importantly, let's take the heavenly way first before leaving. Everything has not been decided yet. After the fierce beast quantity tribulation, cultivators in the wilderness often talk about fixed numbers. What is fixed number? That is to say, misfortune, auspiciousness, status, opportunities, and sources of blessings are all determined by heaven. According to the heavenly way, if a certain spiritual treasure belongs to a certain cultivator, then other cultivators cannot move it, otherwise they will owe causality. Seriously, it may even reduce qi and fortune sources. Even after everything has been settled by the heavenly way, many opportunities will no longer be realized. For example, the innate gourd vine of Mount Buzhou. Both of them came out of the Zixiao palace. How could some people be able to perceive it, while others cannot? This is exactly what the heavenly way did. But now, the way of heaven is not revealed. The world is uncertain. The entire wilderness has no fixed number, only variables. In other words, those spiritual roots and treasures are still an unowned object. Since I have no owner, then I have a chance to find it. And even if I take it, I won't owe any cause and effect. In an instant, Zixiao's eyes lit up. After some analysis, he became even more eager to try. If you don't go out, you can only continue to endure hardship. I can't see the end at a glance. Go out, although there are risks, the returns are particularly high. In addition to breakthrough opportunities, there are also unimaginable opportunities. How to choose? Not long after, Zixiao made a decision. Put it together. Just wander around the big formation, don't run far. In this way, even if we encounter danger, we should be able to run back. It's not that Zixiao doesn't want to indulge. But rather the attraction of going out, it's really too great. Too big for him to resist. Moreover, the journey of cultivation cannot be achieved solely by perseverance. Sometimes, it also requires a bit of adventure. Just like Zixiao's early transformation, if he doesn't make this choice, can the cultivation method be deduced? After making a decision, the rest of the matter becomes simple. Zixiao spent a little more time. About 10,000 years. Firstly, I familiarized myself with some cultivation skills and adjusted my state to the best. Then, I placed my divine thoughts on the innate formation. This formation is innate. At the beginning of the universe, it was already born. Even older than ferocious beasts. Upon closer inspection, one can discover the immeasurable power hidden within the formation. The seemingly inconspicuous but actually able to withstand attacks is quite impressive. The key is that when this formation encounters strength, it becomes stronger. Violence cannot be cracked. Unless someone forcibly breaks through the formation, their cultivation level is even higher than that of Pangu Great God. That's right. The large formations scattered throughout the flood and wasteland were all left by the Pangu deity before his fall. How else can we say that the formation is safe? But now, Zixiao needs to step out of the formation. Just like the transformation. Great advance. Feeling the formation for a moment, Zixiao felt relieved. He originally thought, what if he was born early and the formation disappeared? Isn't that without a safe house? Or the formation may be too rigid, preventing him from going out. Then I went out and realized I couldn't get in. Wait a minute. As a result, his concerns were unnecessary. The great formation has spirit. If the timing is not right, it will not dissipate. It will not change due to his entry and exit, let alone prevent him from traveling back and forth. This is the result of Zixiao's perception. In this way, you can rest assured. Without any worries, Zixiao was open-minded. After a little contemplation, he took a step forward. Stepping out of the formation. Boom. Is this the scene outside the main formation at the beginning of the universe? Coming out of the formation, Zixiao was startled by the scene in front of him. Looking around, various energies intertwine between heaven and earth. In addition to the familiar spiritual energy, there are also evil energy, resentment energy, calamity energy, chaos energy, and so on. It seems that various energy-containing chi machines can find their embryonic form at this time. Spanning endless dimensions, transcending eternal time and space. Vaguely, one can still feel two long rivers. A path that runs through the past, present, and future, a path that connects heaven, earth, and all things. The universe has not yet been determined, and even the long river of time and destiny has not been hidden. Now, Zixiao was truly shocked. However, just as he was thinking, a roar suddenly came out. Roar. Encountered a fierce beast. 8. Speak freely and discover opportunities. You are listening at novelfull.audio. As expected. Encountered a fierce beast. Fortunately, I was mentally prepared before coming out, otherwise I would have been really scared. But then again, is this voice too loud? I'm afraid it's just a roar that can shatter many worlds into nothingness. Retrieving his thoughts, Zixiao looked helpless. I thought to myself. As he had imagined, the appearance of the fierce beast was within his expectations. But to be precise, it was the fierce beast that encountered him. Instead of encountering a ferocious beast. There is still a difference between the two. Because Zixiao doesn't need to search at all. At this moment, in the wilderness, with a sweep of divine consciousness, fierce beasts are everywhere. Well, just as he emerged from the innate formation, he encountered one. But Zixiao didn't panic at all. Because in perception, the cultivation level of this ferocious beast is not high. Jin Xian. It's okay too. Can you give me some practice? Even before his birth, Zixiao had the idea of practicing his skills. There is no experimental subject. Now it's okay, there's a golden immortal ferocious beast in the same realm as his cultivation in the wilderness. You can start. A ferocious beast, transformed by the corpses, essence, blood, and resentment of 3,000 chaotic demon gods. Born full of killing intent. And it is difficult to purify. Full of unwillingness before the fall of the chaotic demon god. Since its inception, there has been only one purpose. To destroy the wilderness. That's also why there is merit in killing ferocious beasts. So here comes the question. Merit has descended from the heavenly way, but at this moment, the heavenly way has not yet emerged. Do I still have merit to take when I kill the ferocious beast? Just give it a try and you'll know. In the next moment, Zixiao's magical power surged all over his body, and he didn't see any movement. Just spit out a word gently. Definitely. Before the words could be finished, the violent beast suddenly came to an end, and the only thing that could move all over its body was probably its eyes. The word ding seems to be the ultimate principle of the Great Road, and is an inviolable rule. No matter how it moves. I can't break free either. Speaking with ease, there is nothing better than this. Suddenly, even Zixiao was a bit surprised. You should know that he is not using any spells, let alone supernatural powers. I just use my magic to express my thoughts. But even so, it still has such power. Amazing. Zixiao is not sure how much strength is needed to deal with cultivators of the same level as other golden immortal peaks. Anyway, he is incredibly relaxed. It's like blowing a sigh of relief. It's not an exaggeration at all. Death. Zixiao once again uttered a word. As the words fell, the fierce beast's murderous eyes dimmed instantly. When I looked at it again, there was no more air to speak of. But it's dead and can't die anymore. Only a flawless corpse can prove that there was indeed a fierce beast lurking here just now. Is that all? Zixiao felt a doubt in her heart. Am I too strong, or is this ferocious beast too weak? Just 2 words. Not even using any supernatural powers. If he insists on treating these 2 words as divine powers, Zixiao is not convinced because he has indeed only used his magic and nothing else. It can only be said that after the introduction of mythology, Zixiao has a natural advantage over those with lower cultivation levels. This is a hierarchical leadership. Zixiao is half a dimension taller than them. Especially when dealing with ferocious beasts that lack intelligence and only know how to kill, this advantage becomes even more apparent. After all, ferocious beasts do not know how to use tools to shorten distances. Anyway, it's my first move. The result completely exceeded Zixiao's expectations. Easiness is not enough to describe it. It should be said crush. Tisk, what a shock, Zixiao still feels a bit unsatisfied. He found that after taking action, he did not become very clear about his own strength. Still very blurry. There's no way, mainly because the battle ended too quickly. But it's okay. There are many ferocious beasts. Roar just a little outward, one can sense the constant roaring sounds. This is the call of a ferocious beast. There are countless quantities. If an ordinary golden immortal cultivator perceives such a large number of golden immortal ferocious beasts, they will definitely be terrified. Then, hide as far as you can. But Zixiao is different. But his eyes lit up and he rubbed his hands a bit. Just now was just a warm dot up, not right. I can't even count it as a warm dot up, it's clearly throat moistening. Just opened 2 cavities, and the fierce beast disappeared. There are still many projects to practice. But now it's better, there are so many ferocious beasts around. Practice whatever you want. In addition to his voice, he can conduct experiments on spells, supernatural powers, and even physical bodies. And based on this, make an accurate evaluation of your own strength. More importantly, killing ferocious beasts is also a chance. Although there is no merit descending. But in the dark, the source of blessings is increasing. Although weak, there is indeed. Zixiao can feel it. What is Fuyuan? It can be understood as luck. Good luck, winning the lottery, drawing cards to make money, going out to pick up money, falling pies from the sky, and so on, can all happen. The increase in Fuyuan is similar to it. Can increase the drop rate and pick-up rate. The source of blessings is profound. If you wander around outside, you can pick up an innate spiritual treasure. For a moment, Zixiao was quite surprised. Along with the gaze at the ferocious beast, there was a change. This is not a disaster, it's clearly a treasure. What a great opportunity. Thank you for the reward from the big shot. 9. This divine power of destiny, the purple sky turns into thunder. You are listening at Novel Full. Audio. Killing ferocious beasts brings blessings. So what should we do? There's no need to say, right. The purple sky shines brightly in both eyes. He suddenly realized that the fierce beast didn't seem so ugly either. Upon closer inspection, it seemed inexplicably cute. Especially the way they rush forward without hesitation. That's really amazing. Just now, Zixiao's thoughts came together and he unleashed a magical power, allowing it to dissipate around him. In an instant, all the nearby ferocious beasts were attracted. Hurry at him. That's where the current scene comes from. If it weren't for the current chaos, there wouldn't have been any cultivators at all, and I'm afraid many people would have exclaimed in surprise. This requires more killing to actively attract the attention of ferocious beasts. Not one, but a large group. And, each one is at least in the early stage of the Golden Immortal. Most of them are from the later stage of the Golden Immortal, and there are even a few who have Tai cultivation. And the boundless realm of the purple sky. Not yet Tai. How else do we say, to die? But in fact, it's not so exaggerated. Without some confidence, Zixiao wouldn't do anything she said. Just like being shaped and born ahead of time. This time is no exception. Because he had conducted experiments on the previous ferocious beast, that's why he has this confidence. Groups of ferocious beasts, attracted by magic, come in pairs. The speed is very fast. Before long, the nearest few fierce beasts from the peak of the Golden Immortal approached Zixiao. But this time, Zixiao did not use his spiritual words again. But with one punch. Boom! A loud bang came. The fierce beast that was hit was like a mirror, but it cracked inch by inch. Zixiao is testing her physique. The test result is just one word. Strong. In the early stage of qi refining, my physical body has undergone changes, and every orifice contains a small world. Between the fists, it's like 1,000 worlds roaring. This is a great power originating from the world. No wonder the body of the ferocious beast would crack open. It was my punch that was too powerful, shattering the world around it. So it looks like it's cracked. Zixiao suddenly realized in her heart. Speaking of which, his expectations for the physical body are actually not high. Just don't pull your hips. But now it seems that not only is it not pulling, but it is also very strong, greatly beyond his expectations. It is unclear whether Zixiao can compare with the Wu tribe. But compared to ordinary ferocious beasts, it is obviously much stronger. It must be said that the flesh of fierce beasts is not weak, and can even be said to be very strong. After all, they were born from the corpses of the chaotic demon gods. And besides the rules, the second most powerful thing about the chaotic demon gods is their physique. Otherwise, how can they survive in chaos? So, Yixiao's physical body can be said to be weak. And then I saw one fierce beast after another being shattered by Yixiao. Extremely relaxed. More importantly, the small world that replaced the orifices allowed him to have a long enough qi to continuously kill hundreds of golden immortal ferocious beasts without any fatigue. However, Yixiao did not continue to use his fists and feet. Because testing has reached this point. The result is clear. In addition, it is also related to the increasing number of ferocious beasts. There are also Tai ferocious beasts among them. So, Yixiao had other thoughts. It's not that his fists and feet are useless, but he thinks it's too slow and there's a faster way. Divine powers. This is a technique that can only be used by cultivators above the golden immortal level. Without reaching the golden immortal, one can only use spells. Of course, this is for the cultivator Honghuang. The cultivation method deduced by Yixiao can be used in the early stage of qi refining. As for the difference between magic and supernatural powers, it's very simple. Just like gold mine and pure gold, small skills and big moves. The former's power is obviously not as strong as the latter. Moreover, not all cultivators possess supernatural powers. Most golden immortals don't know. We have to rely on learning the day after tomorrow. Only those with extraordinary roots can have their own divine powers, which are those that can be mastered directly without learning. Coincidentally, Yixiao is one of them. After all, he is truly top-notch. Even more than one of his innate powers. But when combined, it can be described in 4 words. Purple sky turns into thunder. That's right, his innate power is related to thunder. What is purple? The sublime image. What is the sky? Oh my God! Purple sky refers to the highest sky. The power of heaven is nothing more than thunder. Thunder is the pivot of heaven and earth, and everything in all worlds belongs to thunder. So, the inherent divine power of Yixiao. Related to thunder. In the wilderness, after the birth of the heavenly way, the strongest means of winning is actually thunder. And named purple sky god thunder. However, this thunder has levels. 99 is the most. With my current cultivation level, 39 is the limit, but it should be enough. Thinking about it, Yixiao's expression was indifferent. Almost instinctive. In an instant, one thundercloud after another was summoned, layered and continuous. This thundercloud is black-purple in color. Just feeling the qi makes people feel extremely scared. The fierce beast on the ground suddenly froze and stopped its pace. Turning to roar at the thunderclouds in the sky. Appearing as if facing a great enemy. But Yixiao's gaze towards the fierce beast showed no mercy. Spit out a word. Falling. In an instant, the entire area was covered by lightning, which was the first divine thunder in the world since the beginning of the universe. Boom. 39, 20.7 times, each time tens of thousands of thunderbolts fell. In an instant, the sky exploded with thunder. This is the divine power of Yixiao. Sanjiu thunderstorm. After the last divine thunder fell, where else could there be a shadow of a fierce beast in the field? All turned into fly ash, disappearing without a trace. Under the thunder calamity, there were tens of thousands of ferocious beasts, but not a single one could survive. What about the Tai ferocious beast? No different from Jin Xian. It seems that thunder has a damage bonus on ferocious beasts. Yixiao couldn't help but sigh. Because it's really too fierce. In the same amount of time, efficiency is 100 times that of fists and kicks. Fuyuan has also grown a bit. It's different from before. This time it's very obvious, you can clearly perceive it without careful perception. Suddenly, Zixiao's eyes lit up. It's a bit exciting. Since I have this efficiency and this benefit, why not? Use this method to eliminate ferocious beasts. Punish on behalf of heaven. Seeking flowers, seeking evaluation. 10. Punish on behalf of heaven, and the source of blessings will skyrocket. You are listening at Novel Full.audio. Before using his divine powers, Zixiao never expected that thunder would have a damage bonus on ferocious beasts. But on second thought, it seemed normal again. Because thunder has a restraining effect on evil spirits as it reaches its peak. Unfortunately, fierce beasts are the greatest evil creatures in the wilderness. A divine thunder falls, and any resentment or blood will be extinguished invisibly. Not to mention the purple sky thunder. In short, fierce beasts have weak thunder and relatively low lightning resistance. Thinking of this, Zixiao's eyes lit up. A thought arises. Since I am in control of thunder, why not replace the heavenly way with divine thunder to kill ferocious beasts and earn a source of boundless blessings before the heavenly way emerges? This thought cannot be stopped together. Zixiao was a bit eager to try. There's no way, who made the prophets too big? This is a source of blessings. After the fierce beast quantity tribulation, they are all destined to die, with almost no possibility of growth. Not only can it be done now, but it's not too difficult for Zixiao. Jianyu doesn't take it, right? The sky hasn't even come out yet, so it should be. If Daoyu doesn't take it, he will suffer instead. With this opportunity and corresponding divine powers, if I don't want to avoid them, then I won't have to prove any myths. Why not find a place to live and recuperate? How good would that be? If the source of blessings is deep enough, the opportunity to only obtain spiritual treasures is highly likely to upgrade and become top-notch innate spiritual treasures, or even treasure. Give it a try. Lingbao turns into a motorcycle, isn't it? Lingbao turns into Zhibao. Spell it. Zixiao figured out the pros and cons. Decide to take risks. Of course, we cannot act blindly. Although he has mastered the fierce beast, Nemesis, his cultivation level is not high enough. Not to mention the legendary beast Emperor God Rebellion, just one adult of the four major ferocious beasts is enough for the current purple cloud to eat a pot. So, some caution is still necessary. Thinking about it, Zixiao plans to build a camp step by step. Expand outward gradually with the congenital formation as the center. Run whenever there is danger, never be tempted by war. Not only that, before taking action, I also practiced the top strategy in the 36 strategies, and walking became the top strategy Shentong, Ruan Lutong. So, once everything is ready, Zixiao just took action. He first found an unnamed immortal mountain and sat on top of it. Then, communicate with God to the world that has not yet fully formed, absorb enough spiritual energy into the body, until all the small worlds inside the body are filled. Next, the spiritual energy is transformed into magic. Zixiao summoned one thundercloud after another. Thunderclouds continue to stack up, gradually expanding their scope. The colors gradually deepen, from purple-black to black-purple, one can feel a palpitating sensation from afar. But the thundercloud has not yet fallen, hanging above the purple sky. It seems like something is brewing. It feels like waiting for something. That's right. Waiting for the ferocious beast. At the top of the nameless immortal mountain, Zixiao suddenly opened his eyes and his expression moved slightly. One is because of the thunderstorm overhead. Another it's because at this moment, the fierce herd of beasts rushing towards here. Tens of thousands. Here we go. Zixiao is pulling monsters. He repeated his old trick and attracted the fierce beast from nearby, placing it under thunderclouds. Get ready for a big wave. Of course, this is due to the fact that ferocious beasts lack divine intelligence. So Zixiao can play like this. Because anyone with some intelligence knows that Lei Yun has great terror. Must be avoided. But ferocious beasts don't understand, they only know about killing and destruction. Lei Yun is also a target. It's strange that such an existence hasn't been eradicated. Thunder of 10,000 megabytes, listen to my command. Extinguish. After the fierce beasts gather, Zixiao's magical power is drawn, bringing down the thunder disaster that has been brewing for thousands of years. The brewing of this thunder calamity utilized the vast majority of the magical power in Zixiao's body. He only left a small portion to trigger the divine thunder, or run away in case of accidents. So, this power is even more powerful than before, even exceeding the limit of his ability to unleash it. This is the 49 Thunderbolt Robbery. Compared to the 39 Thunder Robbery, it's one level higher. The power has expanded more than 10 times, including the scope as well. Boom! In an instant, all that remained of this world was thunder. The roar of the ferocious beast was annihilated. They were annihilated together, along with their bodies. Under the divine thunder, everything turns into nothingness. Only the sources of soaring prosperity can prove that they have appeared before. Spitting out a mouthful of turbid air, Zixiao expressed satisfaction. He found himself like a beta player, entering the server earlier than other innate demons. Although the starting point is a bit low, there are plenty of opportunities. For example, innate spiritual roots. Zixiao's eyes lit up. An accident was discovered where the thunderclouds dispersed. Thunderbolt not only took away over 100,000 ferocious beasts, but also purified the previously unchangeable evil energy, making heaven and earth rare and clear. Thus, the innate spiritual roots are introduced to the eye. Prior to this, due to the evil energy, it was impossible to detect it at all. Not bad, although it's just a mid-range innate spiritual root, it's also a harvest. Besides, there's more than one plant. With a sweep of my divine mind, I can discover many plants. More importantly, they seem to be still growing. That is to say, one day, it will go from being of medium quality to being of high quality, and even premium. This is a bit impressive. You should know that there are only 10 top-quality innate spiritual roots in the entire wilderness. Although growth may be slow, it is possible. Undoubtedly before being born. Even the spiritual roots have no fixed number. Zixiao was very emotional. And then he quickly collected all the revealed spiritual roots, along with the soil below. There's no way. Before being born, even mud was a good thing. Not to mention spiritual roots. A few plants are almost bearing fruit. But what satisfies Zixiao the most? It's a tea tree. This tree has a natural charm and abundant origin. With a little perception, one can know that it is beneficial for cultivation. The key is you can take it off now to make tea and drink. Perfect. However, the top priority is not rest, but continue to earn blessings. About 100,000 ferocious beasts, the source of improvement, gave him more than 10 spiritual roots. What if there are millions of heads? How about billions? For a moment, Zixiao's gaze towards the fierce beast became even hotter. There is great potential. Thank you for the reward from the big shot.